Revealed. The sacred meaning of V.I.T.R.I.O.L in 7 divine steps to supernatural transformation. In the tiny village of Eldridge, whispers echoed through the cool summer evenings, fluttering between the ancient, moss-covered stones of the church. It was here that the lives of families intertwined, their hearts bound by love and struggle. But for Sarah, a gentle soul forged in the fires of motherhood and community, life had become a tumultuous storm. Her husband, once a hard-working and jovial man, lay sick in bed, and with each sunrise, hope flickered dimmer as she knelt in the dim light of her kitchen. The aroma of freshly baked bread mingled with her rising anxiety. Sarah pulled her children close, their tiny hands clasped together in prayer. They invoked the divine, beseeching for solace, yearning for healing. It was in this heartfelt moment where shadows danced upon the walls that an unassuming dust-covered manuscript called out to her from the attic, a relic from times forgotten. V.I.T.R.I.O.L. It read, an acronym shrouded in divine mystery. Long-lost secrets that promised supernatural transformation. She hesitated, eyes wide with a mix of skepticism and hope. What if it held the key to saving her husband? Armed with parental devotion and a flicker of faith, she carefully opened the ancient pages. Spiritual fervor ignited her spirit, revealing 7 sacred steps meant for those daring enough to pursue the divine transformation. With each step, she found promises of miracles. A child healed, a heart mended. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With newfound courage, Sarah immersed herself in the manuscript's teachings, her connection to the village pastor deepening with each conversation. Together, they shared hopes, fears, and secrets, their words punctuated by fervent prayers that reverberated across the stone church walls, akin to angels singing fractals of grace. In small gatherings, the community united, harmonizing prayers melded under the starlit sky, igniting faith that shimmered like fireflies dancing in the night. Magical moments drifted into their lives. A neighbor's ailing heart suddenly found peace. A child's laughter rang louder and joyfully echoed throughout the village. Sarah's spirit felt buoyed, cradled in divine feathers. Yet, darkness loomed. Her husband's condition progressed from troubling to dire, as doctors prepared her for the worst. In that heart-wrenching moment, when grief threatened to consume her completely, a divine revelation settled deep within her soul. V.I.T.R.I.O.L wasn't just about external healing, it beckoned her to explore her heart. True transformation began within, a metamorphosis awash in faith amidst the storm. Determined, she rallied friends and neighbors for a powerful prayer movement that swelled with voices lifted high, echoing for healing, for strength. As night descended, candles flickered like stars, illuminating faces marked by earnestness and hope. Sarah felt warmth enveloping her heart, a sacred embrace echoing promises of the divine. But just then, an unexpected tremor rattled their fervor, doubt creeping in like fog. Could it be they were overlooking something profound? A true test of faith loomed, one that would challenge their very beliefs. Would Sarah's unwavering spirit and the teachings of V.I.T.R.I.O.L rally them back toward that sacred light? Would their fragile hope bloom amidst the impending uncertainty? As the pages of their lives turned, the community held its breath, ready to witness what divine mysteries awaited them next. As the warm candlelight flickered gently, Sarah felt an electric charge of faith ripple through the gathered souls. Each face illuminated by hope, each hand raised in earnest prayer, formed a tapestry of love woven through the night. Yet, a darkness whispered, a cold, clammy reality tugging at her heart. Was their faith enough? The village pastor, his voice steady yet soft, rose amidst the chorus of prayers. Friends, he began, sometimes the darkest night brings forth the brightest dawn. Our cries are heard, and though the answer may not be what we expect, it is what we need. Sarah clenched her hands together, squeezing her children's fingers tightly. Voices around her echoed in agreement. But an ember of doubt flickered within her. What if all their prayers were in vain? Suddenly, the manuscript tucked under her arm felt heavier, as if filled with the weight of unfulfilled promises. But then, as if responding to her internal turmoil, a warmth coursed through her. She remembered the pages of V.I.T.R.I.O.L, specifically the promise, "True transformation unveils through trial." The first sacred step urged her to examine her heart, to purge the fear and embrace the love that surrounded her. This revelation stirred something deep inside. It became a quiet conviction that perhaps, just perhaps, faith itself held miraculous power. "Let us share our own burdens, dear friends," Sarah called out, courage swelling within her. "For every sickness, there must arise a testimony." She encouraged each person to share their struggles, their stories of pain and healing. One by one, voices rose. A widow spoke of loneliness turned into solace found in community. A once skeptical farmer shared how his yield had bloomed marvelously after prayers poured forth. Each testimony, each heart laid bare, mingled in the warm air like incense, sweet and sacred. As hope regained its foothold, a curious peace settled in. Questions transformed to praises. Doubt morphed into this vibrant light illuminating their collective spirit. They breathed in hope, sighing a unified sigh of relief, as life and love began to swell around them. Yet, shadows still danced at the edges of the gathering. Sarah cast a glance toward her home, her heart tightening with the memory of her husband's pallid face. Each retelling tugged at her, revealing bigger fears wrapped in the smaller truths shared. That image morphed into a vision, a gentle prompting that urged her to visit him. What if the healing they had sought was already unfolding in the tender grasp of togetherness? She felt compelled to act. "Let us go," she asserted, voice ringing with newfound strength. "We must stand together as family, face whatever lies ahead." The group murmured agreement, and as they strode toward her home, their hearts began to sing each step a rhythmic prayer, binding them at an even deeper level. What awaited them remained clouded in mystery, but they walked boldly in faith, ready to confront the unknown. As they approached the door, a palpable energy enveloped them, vibrant like a summer breeze filled with fragrant flowers. Was that the voice of divine assurance? And then, as Sarah reached for the handle, she wondered, what awaited them on the other side? Was her husband, in his silent suffering, feeling the very pulse of their collective prayers? Would he respond to the warmth of community's love? In that moment of quiet expectancy, shadows grew faint, and a spark of divine anticipation danced on the threshold of possibility. Could transformation truly be at hand? As Sarah turned the handle, the door creaked open with a hesitant whisper, revealing the dimly lit interior of her home. The air felt heavy, thick with the weight of unanswered prayers and unspoken fears. Yet, together they stepped inside, a tide of hope sweeping through the threshold. The atmosphere shifted immediately. Her husband, Daniel, lay on the worn couch, his frame gently rising and falling in cadence with shallow breaths. The flickering light from the candles outside danced through the window, casting a warm glow upon his face, almost as if the light itself was reaching out in a tender embrace. "Daniel!" Sarah exclaimed, rushing to his side. Her heart raced as she grasped his cold hand. Was this the moment they had all prayed for? A gentle murmur of encouragement rose from the others, filling the space with warmth. But as she looked closer, her heart sank. Though his face had softened from the shadows, it bore the marks of unseen battles. The pallor remained a somber reminder of his fight against illness. She leaned closer, whispering, "We're here, love. You're not alone." Her voice trembled with emotion, mingling hope and fear in a delicate dance. Quiet sobs from her companions filled the room. Yet, even through the veil of uncertainty, a quiet resolve began to stir among them. One by one, the villagers filed in beside her, gathering around Daniel as if encircling him in a divine fortress of love. The pastor raised his voice above the hushed murmurs. "Let us pray for our brother, for healing and strength, for we believe in the power of community." As they bowed their heads, Sarah felt the weight of their collective faith hovering above them, a palpable energy wrapping around Daniel like a gentle cloud. She closed her eyes, urging the darkness to retreat, pleading for a miracle yet imaginable. In that moment, the scriptures came alive in her heart. No longer were they mere words, but promises woven into the very fabric of their being. By his stripes, we are healed, she whispered, the phrase echoing in her spirit. What if in this very moment, they were standing on the brink of divine transformation? Could their fervent love pierce through the shadows? With every heartfelt plea hanging in the air, a wave of serene warmth began to spread through the room, cascading over each soul present. Sarah opened her eyes, glancing nervously at her husband, and gasped. His eyelids fluttered as if the warmth was coaxing him back from the depths of despair. "Daniel, can you hear us?" she asked softly, tears streaming down her cheeks. Each member of the village leaned in closer, capturing the moment, a tableau of hope gathering strength in their prayers. Then, suddenly, a faint sound broke the stillness that enveloped them. It was a profound breath, a whisper of life resonating from Daniel's lips. With a trembling sigh, he opened his eyes, murky at first, then shimmering with the faintest glimmer of recognition. Sarah's heart soared. The light of possibility and transformation surged around them, igniting an electric joy. "Love, it's all about love," Daniel murmured, his voice barely audible yet powerful in its essence. The group gasped, hearts clasped in a mixture of awe and exhilaration, as if the very essence of their prayers had ignited a spark. Could this be the sacred meaning of V.I.T.R.I.O.L, the transformation they had yearned for, manifesting in this fragile moment of unity? But even as hope soared, a shadow of uncertainty lingered. What did this mean for their journey ahead? Would healing unfold in ways they least expected? An enveloping silence filled the room, pregnant with divine possibility, urging them to look beyond the surface of their fears into a future intertwined with faith. What other revelations awaited them as they continued to seek the light? Would the answers they craved unveil themselves through love's powerful embrace? With each breath Daniel took, the atmosphere in the room transformed into something sacred and charged. It was as if the light streaming through the window intertwined itself with the very essence of their gathering. The village's hopes hung in the balance, their collective prayers weaving a tapestry of faith around Daniel, an invisible shield both protective and invigorating. "Daniel, love, can you tell us what you feel?" Sarah's eyes sparkled with emotion, her heart bursting with love and longing. Daniel gazed at her, clarity flooding his features. "I feel warmth, and the touch of every heart here." His voice, although weak, began to grow in strength, resonating through the room. The pastor, sensing the moment's divine weight, raised a trembling hand, uncharacteristically overcome. "This is the moment we've prayed for, a defiance against despair, an invitation to miraculous faith." Weak but resolute, Daniel managed to smile as the villagers responded with a collective amen. The sound lifted spirits higher, radiating beyond the walls of the dim room. Yet as this miracle unfolded, Sarah felt a stirring within her. Was Daniel's awakening merely a flicker or something that could ignite a blazing fire? What if they were called to press deeper into love and faith, not just for Daniel but for the whole village? The thought sent ripples of excitement and uncertainty through her being. "Daniel," she said, leaning in closer, "the love we share, it's a light that can't just stop here. What if our journey continues to awaken others?" The words flowed from her heart, an unpolished truth that both thrilled and terrified her. Daniel's breath seemed to catch. "You mean the community? Together we could, yes. Together we could transform pain into purpose. We have the power to help others find this love, too." Her words hung in the air, like a fragrant bloom in a garden stubbornly growing through cracks in concrete. Their surroundings buzzed with anticipation. The villagers exchanged glances, touched by the gravity of her statement. "Goddess grace doesn't just touch us," said the pastor, raising his voice as he carried forward Sarah's vision. "It flows through us. Healing is but an invitation to serve beyond ourselves." One by one, the villagers began to nod, the idea stretching their hearts wide open. They could become beacons of hope and love, a network of unwavering faith. This moment was not solely for Daniel. It was a calling for them all. As they shared their visions and hopes, each word became like a seed sown into fertile ground. They could plant seeds of healing, encouraging each other to step out of their comfort zones. The paths weaved and intermingled, drawing them closer to the mystery of God's purpose as the night wore on. Laughter and prayers filled the air, a symphony of voices lifting into the heavens. Each smile shared, every hand clasped, strengthened the bond between them. Sarah felt the presence of a greater truth nudging the corners of her heart. Yet questions lingered, echoing tenderly within. Would they truly have the strength to step into such a calling? What would it take to ensure this awakening transformed into action? As hope stirred and possibilities danced, Sarah sensed an adventure unspooling. They stood at the threshold of a new beginning. What awaited them beyond this glow of light? Would they find the divine encounters promised in this sacred journey of faith? As the night deepened, the flames flickering in the small room cast shadows on the walls, creating a dance of light and darkness. Dana's smile lingered in the air, weaving through the space like an offering. He sensed the stirrings of something monumental, a flicker of hope that had gripped not just him but every heart gathered around him. What do we do next? A gentle voice, Anna, broke through the joyous murmurs, her brow furrowed with earnestness. If we are to help others, we must know what that truly means. Daniel looked around the circle, each face glowing with expectant joy. They had seen him rise from despair, but what of the others out there, tangled in their heartbreak, wondering if miracles were even possible? Let us begin with our own stories, Sarah suggested, her heart racing with excitement. Let us share the moments when love transformed our lives. The pastor nodded, inspired by her idea. Yes, our testimonies can be the light that draws others from the shadows. One by one, villagers opened their hearts. Old Mr. Jenkins spoke of losing his wife, how darkness had enveloped him. Yet he had found peace in community prayer. It was as if love wrapped around me like a warm blanket, he said. I wasn't alone anymore. Tears sparkled in the corner of many eyes as more voices chimed in. A single mother shared how kindness from her neighbors had lifted her spirits when she was at her lowest, filling her home with laughter and love again. Another villager recounted a time of deep sorrow, and how an unexpected act of grace had turned despair into an unshakable faith. With each story, they stepped closer to the truth. They each held pieces of the divine puzzle. Each narrative was like a thread that wove them tighter as a community, one that became a beautiful tapestry of resilience, courage, and above all, love. As the candle flames flickered, Sarah's heart swelled at the realization that these shared moments were not just history. They were promises of what God could do. Look how He has worked already, she exclaimed, her voice rising with passion. If we rally together in faith, we can shine brighter than ever before. We can become the source of light for those lost in their own darkness. A wave of agreement washed over the room. Excitement rippled, hearts beating in sync with newfound purpose. They were not just spectators. They were participants in a living story that had room for everyone willing to believe. But as the fervor peaked, Sarah's thoughts drifted back to her own heart. Was she truly ready to lead such a charge? Fear, a familiar shadow, flickered at the corner of her confidence. What if I falter? She pondered. Sarah. Daniel's voice cut gently through her thoughts, anchoring her. You are not alone in this. We will walk together. His assurance enveloped her like a gentle embrace, reinforcing her resolve. As they continued to discuss plans, possibilities unfolded. They could start by visiting the elders, the sick, the weary, extending invitations to prayer meetings, and sharing testimonies to reignite hope. As ideas flowed, a certain divine humility washed over them. This gathering was not just a meeting. It was the heartbeat of a greater movement. Their belief could disrupt the fabric of despair that wound tightly around their village, awakening hearts to the promises God had held since the dawn of time. Yet, as the evening melted into the night, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they had only scratched the surface. What awaited their newly awakened spirits? What hurdles would they face as they stepped forth into their calling? The night stood still, pregnant with unspoken questions. The fire flickered, casting shadows that whispered of uncharted paths ahead, and the gentle wind outside carried with it an invitation and adventure into the unknown lay waiting. What miraculous encounters would unfold as they embraced their purpose? Would their collective journey become the catalyst for transformation that they so yearned for? As the fire crackled softly in the heart of the room, the conversations began to unwind, taking shape like tendrils of smoke reaching for the unknown. Sarah looked at each of her friends, their faces illuminated by the soft glow, and felt a warmth deep within her spirit. This was more than just a gathering. It was the beginning of something profound. "Let us not just talk about our plans," Daniel said, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Let us pray for direction. God's wisdom can lead us further than our own understanding ever could." His words landed like a gentle breeze, stirring something deep inside. One by one, they bowed their heads, forming a small circle of faith. A silence cloaked them, sacred and still. Sarah felt the weight of uncertainty lift slightly as she poured out her heart in prayer. She prayed for courage, for even the smallest seeds of change to take root in the lives of those who needed it. When they finished, a new energy pulsed in the air. "What do we actually want to see happen?" Anna asked, breaking the renewed quiet. "How can we measure our purpose?" "By our impact," Sarah burst forth, her confidence buoyed by the spirit that filled the room. "If we can touch just one heart, that's a start. If just one person experiences hope through us, we've done something significant." "It's about ripples, I senti it," Mr. Jenkins added, his voice quivering with emotion. "A single act of kindness can touch lives we may never see. The divine work reaches far beyond our sight." In that moment of unity, Sarah realized they were planting seeds, each story and prayer a nurturing drop of rain. "And with every ripple, we find more voices to join our call," she responded eagerly. "Together, we can create a chorus so loud that it drowns out the echoes of despair." The notion of community swelled. Daniel grabbed an old notebook from the side table, flipping it open. "Let us list out our ideas. Where will we begin? What specific steps will guide our journey?" As they scribbled down thoughts, a map of purpose unfolded. Visiting the elderly, offering meals, organizing prayer walks, spreading smiles, these were seeds of love poised to break through cold, hard ground. Suddenly, a hush swept through the group. An unexpected chill crept into the air, a whisper of something divine pressing against their hearts. Just then, a loud knock echoed against the door. All heads turned, surprise blending with curiosity. "Who could that be at this hour?" Anna murmured, her voice tremoring slightly. With a collective breath, Daniel opened the door to reveal a young woman, breathless and disheveled, eyes wide with vulnerability. "Please, I heard voices. I was walking by, and she faltered, taking in the circle of warm faces, the flickering flames, and the sanctuary of love that surrounded them. "I'm lost," she finally admitted, tears brimming. "I don't know where to go." In that moment, a sacred weight filled the air. The reality of their mission crashed down like a wave. This was it, the test of their purpose had arrived at the door, seeking refuge. "Come in," Daniel beckoned, his own heart racing. "You're safe here." Sarah felt her spirit surge. This was the moment she had been waiting for. It was as if God had plucked them from the comfort of their gathering and thrown them straight into the world where compassion was desperately needed. As the stranger stepped inside, it became clear that their journey was unfolding in ways they never anticipated. What did God want to show them through this unexpected encounter? How would they serve the needs right before them? The flame danced wildly, illuminating the faces of her friends as they prepared to welcome the young woman into their community. Sarah could hardly contain her excitement and trepidation. Together, they were about to write the next chapter of their story, and Sarah realized with a jolt that their adventure was only just beginning. What lessons awaited them with this new arrival? What challenges would arise as they embedded their love into the fabric of their village? As the young woman crossed the threshold, her presence brought a palpable change to the room. The warmth of the fire flickered against the chill of her vulnerability, wrapping around her like a gentle embrace. Sarah took a step forward, heart racing with hope. "What is your name?" she asked softly, her voice a steady anchor. "Emily," came the quiet reply, her gaze darting nervously from one friendly face to another. "I didn't know who else to turn to. I just felt drawn to your light." Sarah's heart danced. Wasn't that what they had prayed for, their light to shine in a world shrouded in darkness? "You're safe here, Emily. We're glad you came." She gestured for her to sit by the fire. As Emily settled onto the couch, the energy in the room shifted. The air seemed to hum with possibility. Sarah exchanged glances with her friends. They understood without needing words. Daniel, sensing the moment, leaned in. "Emily, can you share what brought you here tonight? What troubles are you facing?" With a deep breath, Emily began to unravel her story. "I lost my job last week. My family, they don't understand. I feel so alone. I need hope." Her voice cracked under the weight of her words as the group listened intently. Sarah felt the spirit stirring within them. Here was a chance to embody everything they had planned. "Emily, you are not alone," she said, feeling the truth resonate through each syllable. "We're a community, and we want to help in any way we can." At that moment, Sarah's eyes sparkled with inspiration. "What if we all shared a moment of encouragement? Maybe we can each say one thing we hope for you," she suggested, looking around the room. Anna nodded enthusiastically, her face lighting up with warmth. "I'd like to start. Emily, I hope you find a path that brings you joy. You are worth more than any job title." Encouraged, Mr. Jenkins chimed in, "And I hope you feel the strength of this community. We are here for you, every step of the way." One by one, each friend offered a word, a thought, a prayer. They spoke of resilience, faith, and hope, each sentiment building a cocoon of love around Emily. Sarah could almost see the stitches of connection weaving their hearts together. Suddenly, the flickering flames intensified. The room swelled with a glow that felt almost transcendent. "This is a divine moment," Sarah exclaimed, emotion filling her voice. "We are meant to be here together, sharing hope, sharing love." Tears ran down Emily's cheeks, but they sparkled like gems. "Thank you, I didn't expect this. I was so frightened to reach out." As the evening wore on, they shared stories and laughter, memories of joy woven together with the threads of healing. Time slipped away as if they were all suspended in a sacred bubble, encapsulated by caring and kindness. But Sarah felt a flicker of something deeper still, a stirring in her spirit as if something bigger was at play. "This is only the beginning. I senti it," she murmured softly, glancing at her friends. "What do you mean?" Daniel asked, intrigued. "I mean, this night, this gathering is a sign. Emily came to us for a reason. Perhaps God is telling us that each of us has a role to play more than we ever imagined. What if we create more spaces like this? What if we become true lights in our community?" Anna's eyes widened with excitement. "That's it," Sarah exclaimed, her heart racing. "Let us not wait. Let us make a difference right now as we are. Who else needs to feel this warmth? Who else is lost and looking for their light?" In that moment of revelation, Sarah knew they could become a beacon of hope, a far-reaching lighthouse guiding others back home. But what challenges would arise as they stepped into this divine calling? As if to answer her, a sharp knock resonated through the room once more. The sound of the knock echoed like a heartbeat through the room, stunning everyone into silence. Emily's eyes widened in fear, and Sarah felt a flutter of nervous anticipation. What could this unexpected visitor bring? "Shall I get it?" Daniel asked, glancing towards the door. The group nodded, recognizing that this moment held potential for further unfolding. As he approached, tension hung thick in the air, each breath charged with divine expectancy. When Daniel opened the door, a gust of fresh air swept in, mingling with the lingering warmth of the fire. Standing there was a figure Emily hadn't expected, a tall man, slightly disheveled, carrying a small backpack slung over one shoulder. His eyes glimmered with a wild kind of hope. "Hello," he said, his voice trembling slightly. "I'm Luke. I've been searching. I felt led to this place." Sarah stepped forward, instantly intrigued. "Welcome, Luke. You're in the right place. We're just sharing stories of hope. Come join us. As Luke entered, Emily tucked her hair behind her ear, curious about him. He took a seat on the floor, leaning against the wall, and his presence added to the energy in the room. There was something unspoken in the air, a collective yearning for connection. "What brings you here tonight?" Anna asked gently, her tone inviting. Luke hesitated, then took a deep breath. "I lost someone very special to me. I've spent countless nights wandering, unsure of what to do, where to go. I felt so lost until I followed this feeling that brought me to your door." There was a moment of silence as they absorbed his words. Emily, feeling the solidarity of shared pain, leaned forward. "You're not alone. We all felt lost at some point." That familiarity sparked something within the group. Sarah sensed God's presence weaving a deeper connection among them. "Luke, we've just been discussing how each of us can play a role in bringing light into the world. Sounds like you're searching for your own light." "That's exactly it," Luke said, hope flickering in his eyes. "I've been seeking what my purpose is after loss, what I'm meant to do with my life now." In that moment, hearts opened wider, and Sarah whispered a silent prayer, inviting the Spirit to guide them. She knew this was divine timing. They needed to share what they had found in their struggles. "What if we start a journey together?" she suggested, her voice steady. "A collective path towards healing and discovery. Luke, Emily, we could be a community, a family of sorts. What do you think?" There was a ripple of agreement, and a sense of relief washed over Luke. "I'd like that more than you know." Encouraged by this commitment, the friends felt the weight of the conversation lift. Plans began to unfold, envisioning nights filled with laughter, support, and shared stories. They envisioned how they could each draw strength from one another, transforming their pain into purpose. "Let us meet regularly," Daniel proposed. "We can delve deeper into our pasts and explore the light that resides in each of us. Because together, we can shine brighter." The fire crackled gently, casting serene light on new faces and deepening bonds. Sarah realized the moments shared around that flame would serve as the catalyst for something profound. "So what's next?" Emily asked, a spark of determination lighting her face. "What if we create a mission statement for our gatherings?" Anna proposed, excitement bubbling in her voice. "We could call ourselves the Brighter Collective, a group dedicated to sharing light." They all laughed and shared ideas, allowing the conversation to flow, energy rising. But just as they were caught in the rush of inspiration, the fire suddenly shifted, a gust of wind blowing through the open window, extinguishing some of the flames. "Whoa!" Luke exclaimed, taken aback. "Is this a sign?" Sarah felt the room still. The air turned heavier, saturated with a deeper realization. What did this mean? Were they ready to face the storms that would come as they signed up for this sacred mission? As they sought answers, an unmistakable sense of purpose resonated within their hearts. But they knew that this was just the beginning of their shared journey. "What lies ahead might challenge us," Emily said thoughtfully. "But we will face it together, one we." With heads nodded in agreement, they felt the weight of destiny stirring around them. But as they looked to the window, dark clouds began to gather, seeming to reflect the tension beneath their dedication. What trials would soon test their resolve? And could their light withstand the storm? A heavy silence hung in the room, pressing down like the gathering storm outside. Luke shifted uncomfortably, aware of the gravity of their newfound commitment. Each of them had a light to share, yet the darkness loomed, threatening to snuff it out. "We need to remind ourselves," Sarah spoke, her voice a steady flame amidst the uncertainty, "that even in the darkness, we have the power to shine. Each step we take is for a purpose." Daniel nodded, his brow furrowed in thought. "But what if we stumble? What if we lose our way again?" Emily felt a tug in her heart at Daniel's words. She understood that fear all too well. That's where we come in. We help each other. We hold one another accountable. When one of us falters, the others will carry that light until they can stand again. "Exactly," Anna chimed in, her eyes glistening with determination. "This is about connection and trust. We need to be that safety net for each other." Luke swallowed hard, feeling the warmth of their unity. I want to believe in that. I want to be part of something greater, but I need to know how. In that moment, Sarah felt inspired. Let us start our journey with the concept of V.I.T.R.I.O.L. It speaks to transformation through trials. Each letter represents a step we can take as individuals and as a community. V.I.T.R.I.O.L. Daniel repeated, tilting his head in curiosity. What does it stand for? Visita interiora terrae rectificando invenis occultum lapidem, Sarah recited, her voice reverberating with reverence. It means visit the interior of the earth, and by rectifying you will find the hidden stone. It's about looking within ourselves to uncover the treasures that God has placed there. Emily smiled, envisioning their collective journey. So it's about exploring our depths, confronting our fears, our pain, and rectifying what's off balance within us. Yes, it's the excavation of our souls, Anna added excitedly. Each of us has a stone, a true calling suffocated by our struggles. We must dig deep to let it shine. Luke's eyes widened as he absorbed the essence of their words. And what's the first step? He inquired, eager to dive into. Sarah's heart raced, knowing that each answer would unveil a layer of their shared existence. The first step is to acknowledge our pain. We must face it head-on. It's a part of our journey, and understanding it will set us free. Daniel leaned back, absorbing the weight of their mission. It's scary to confront what haunts us, he confessed. But what happens if we uncover something we can't handle? A hushed stillness enveloped them again, as they considered his question. The flickering fire seemed to breathe alongside them. Fear is part of the process, Emily whispered softly, her belief unwavering. But remember, we carry each other. We become the strength we need. As their gazes met, a soothing warmth rushed over them, igniting hope against the cold winds outside. And just then, a loud clap of thunder startled the group. A reminder of the storm brewing beyond the walls, a storm that might reflect the inner turmoil they each faced. Let us promise to meet each challenge, no matter how daunting, Luke urged, his voice rising above the tension. Together we can overcome anything. They all murmured their agreement, feeling the sacred energy fill the room once more, like flames rising anew. But as they huddled together, a strange whisper seemed to flow through the atmosphere, the unmistakable touch of the spirit. Was it a sign that the path ahead would indeed be more formidable than they anticipated? The question loomed, heavy with potential. What revelations would unfold as they ventured deeper into the heart of their work? And would they have the courage to face the hidden stones of their souls? The dawn broke over Eldridge, painting the horizon in hues of gold and crimson. The village stirred awake, cradling a renewed hope blossoming like a spring flower. Last night had been a turning point, a divine intersection where courage and love met to create something extraordinary. Sarah stood by her kitchen window, feeling the gentle warmth of the sun on her face, a sweet promise whispering in her ear. Today was a day of healing and purpose. She remembered the faces around the fire, their shared stories lighting the darkness. Each testimony held a spark, igniting not just their hearts but also the community's spirit. Together, they had vowed to embody hope, to be the hands that extended love to those lost and weary. Sarah felt intricately woven into this divine tapestry as she turned to prepare breakfast. Her heart danced with anticipation of what lay ahead. A prayer rose from her lips. Lord, guide our steps today. Let our lights shine brightly. Outside, the village gathered in the small square, a vibrant energy thrumming like a heartbeat. Neighbors greeted one another with warm smiles and hearty embraces. The collective faith blossomed, echoing among them a harmony that resonated with the promise of V.I.T.R.I.O.L. Sarah joined the crowd, each face a mirror reflecting their shared journey. Daniel, standing beside her, looked rejuvenated. He was a living embodiment of hope, his hands stronger, his gaze more defined. The scars of uncertainty began to fade, replaced with a resolute joy that could only come from shared faith. Today we take our first steps, Daniel announced, his voice steady and inviting. Let us visit our elder neighbors. Let us share our stories. Remind them they're not alone. Each of us is a vessel of healing. Together, we can bring light into their lives. Cheers erupted, the enthusiasm palpable. They traveled in clusters, each group a radiant stream flowing through the village. Sarah felt the gentle tug of purpose as they approached Miss Ruby's home, a cherished elder known for her wisdom. As they arrived, the energy shifted. A weight of tension hung in the air, but love surged like a wave ready to break. "Miss Ruby," Sarah called, delight dancing in her voice. The door creaked open to reveal Miss Ruby, her eyes sparkling with surprise and joy. "Oh, dear ones, what a beautiful surprise!" As the villagers filtered in, the reverence for her wisdom hung thick. Sarah felt emboldened. This was it, the mission unfolding before their eyes. Sharing their laughter and stories, they wove a rich tapestry that wrapped around her like a sacred shawl. "Love is the remedy we seek," Sarah shared, her heart alight. "We're here to remind you, Miss Ruby, that we're a community. You're not isolated in your struggles." Tears shimmered in Ruby's eyes, glistening with gratitude. "Thank you, dear. I thought I had lost my purpose, my light." Embraces exchanged, warmth and healing lingered in the air as they relayed their shared stories, igniting hope for not just Ruby but for all as the day progressed. The collective glow spread throughout the village. Each visit fostered connections. Each story rippled outwards. They became a beacon to others, an engraved promise that no one was ever alone in their darkness. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the scene in deep magentas and blues, Sarah felt an overwhelming peace settle within. She gathered everyone in a circle. "This is only the beginning," she declared, uniting their spirits. V.I.T.R.I.O.L isn't just about finding healing in ourselves. It's about pouring our love into the world. We are called to continue this mission. They stood there, hearts beating as one, ignited by purpose. They were a brotherhood, a sisterhood, a tapestry of vibrant faith woven through stories of struggle and hope. But the clouds that had threatened that morning were returning, a reminder that challenges awaited them. "Together, we'll weather every storm," shouted Luke, standing tall and firm beside Sarah. "Bring it on," chimed in Emily, eyes sparkling with determination. They were ready, hearts alive, spirits bonded, hands extended. As they watched the stars emerge in the deepening darkness, the quiet whispers of the universe echoed back their truth. They were not just seekers of light, they were the light for those still lost. And so they stepped into the unknown, hearts aglow, ready to shine. This is the moment, don't let it slip away. Subscribe immediately to this channel to not miss our next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep spreading this message. Comment below to share your reactions and testimonies about how this ending touched your heart. And remember to share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. For only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting our mission. Don't wait even one more second, let your light shine.